God's restoration plan of the world. That's what I want to talk to you about today. So, we don't live in a perfect world, and this world has many issues, and there's a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, mistreatments, and a lot of unrighteousness. And this is the world we live in. So, yeah, I want to talk to you about the restoration plan of God for this world. You have to think about what's the source that all this unrighteousness, all this egocentrical ambitions and sinful ambitions come from. So, I want to talk to you about the book of Genesis and the episode where Adam and Eve fall into the devil's scheme. So, we actually have a fall. We live in a fallen world, and this world, as beautiful as it is still beautiful. That's the grace of God for this world still. Actually, it was a fall in that Garden of Eden. So, man and his wife, Eve, decided not to listen to God's command to not eat in the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. And they were actually tricked out by the snake. And that's where Adam and Eve opened the door for this spiritual enemy of ours. And that was when the fall was actually made. Can you actually imagine the drama of Adam and Eve when they were, let's say, exiled, or they were put outside the Garden of Eden? So, yes, it was the most dramatical event in the history of humankind on this earth, because the connection with God was stopped because of their transgression. They could not see, they could not be in the presence of God as they were before. They were given, let's say, an unpleasant gift of experiencing right and evil, choosing right and evil. Yeah, so even in their bodies, I believe there was a change. I don't think you will actually find this in the Bible, but I really believe their bodies suffered some dramatical changes, because we have in ourselves, right, in our bodies, like functions that discern what is good and what is not good. Okay, you have the good proteins and the good stuff that our body needs, and it consumes them and stores them, right? I don't know, vitamins, proteins, what is good for our body, and what is not good, like toxins and things that are actually not good for our body, they are separated. Well, in my opinion, I believe there was nothing that was evil or bad in the Garden of Eden, because the nature itself, it was perfect and harmonious. So I believe that their bodies actually suffered. We actually have a body that experiences suffering. So even when you, I don't know, hit your hand on a wall, or you fell down with your bike or something like that, you actually feel that pain and feel that thing that is called suffering. There are many types of suffering, including soul suffering, like depressions or other things like that. So there are all signs of a falling that took part so many thousands of years ago. Can you imagine that we are actually, I don't know which number of generations after they fell? I mean, you actually think it's a continuous cycle in the end. Things will go on again and again and again until when, you know? When will God restore us? So, yeah, that's what I want to talk to you about, the restoration plan of God. So, we know the problem. There is suffering. The Garden of Eden was actually made unavailable for us. We can't go there because of our transgressions. And was so special about the Garden of Eden actually was the plants. I believe it was very beautiful, and they had fruits there that they consumed. But I believe the most essential thing was that the Spirit of God was there. God itself walked on the garden in the mornings, and they had fellowship with God. So that's the first thing. Yes, that's the first thing that God actually restored. You know, when Adam and Eve lost that communion that they had, because that's a spiritual restoration. So you have in the Bible, yes, we have this episode that was very dramatical of Adam and Eve. Okay, I want to go even further on this. Think about the first dramatical changes they felt, like their first sadness, their first feelings of shame, because sin got them shameful, and even the first sufferings that they had to go by. There they had two sons, one was Abel, one was Cain. Cain actually killed Abel because he was jealous of him, because God accepted the offerings of Abel and not Cain's, because Abel made that offering, the sacrificial offering, with his heart. Cain did it in the wrong way. So, yes, Adam and Eve had so much drama changes since they went into the Garden of Eden, you know, and they lost something so essential to them. So that's when the restoration plan of God actually began. So Jesus actually, when he came, he restored the fundamental problem of people, meaning their reconnection to God. In the first hand, we have a reconnection with God. We can come to God through Jesus, only through him. And he actually resolved the problem of the Garden of Eden when people bypassed the law of God, and a price had to be paid for us to be in a good relationship with the Heavenly Creator again. So Jesus done that on the cross. There are so many things on the cross that you can talk about, but one of them is the promise of the full restoration. You know, so that's one I want to point out about today, is that a new reign will follow. A new reign will follow. A new reign of God will come. He will come back. He will come back, and he promised that he will restore the earth, and not only the earth, the heavens. So that's our great promise that we have in Jesus Christ. There is actually a new reign that is coming. So the Bible talks about in the book of Revelation about the 1,000 year reign. So there are many opinions on what this actually means, and people are actually think one way or another. But what I believe is that in this area of time actually gives the possibility of fulfilling many of the Old Testament prophecies, that have not actually been that have not actually been fulfilled. Okay, they've not actually been fulfilled yet. So we have the promise of the full restoration of earth. So many people think about heaven or, you know, the place where God lives, actually somewhere far away. But actually, God wants to make the earth heaven itself, because where God reigns, there is heaven. And the Word of God says in Isaiah 11, verse 5 through 7, that it says that the wolf will live with the lamb, and the leopard lie down with the kid, the calf, young lion, and the fattened lamb together, with a little child to lead them. So, such a great promise that the animal world will be full in harmony again, just as it was in the Garden of Eden. So, that's such a great promise to think about. And can you imagine living among lions, where lion says it will eat straw like the ox? So we won't have these violent attacks between animals, and there will be a full restoration of the earth. The glory of God will cover all the earth, and the people, all people from all nations, will know who God is and will have the law of God written in their hearts. That's the great promise of God for this earth, which in the end it will be reigned in righteousness, and the right people will lead it, and the glory of God shall overflow it. It's such a great promise, this. Yeah, and as the last part of the revelation, so we have this millennial reign that is actually coming. At the end of the millennial reign of 1,000 years, uh, the New Jerusalem will come down as a bride prepared for its groom. So it's such a great, a great hope and great blessings. It is for those who trust in Jesus Christ and who have received God in their lives. And this is the promise that God actually gives us. We don't actually just live in this world just for, making plans and making good things in this world, like what you have to do. That's important, and it's very good to do, to live wisely and do good with all that you have. But you have to have this perspective that in the end everything will change, and God will change it for the good. So in the end, there are only two ways, because there will be a great separation, and the wicked people, their wickedness shall send them into hell and into judgment, eternal judgment. Or the other way around, if you have Jesus, if you have God in your life, He said He will save you. And there's the promise of God, and it will bring you in the end. You will have to rejoice. You will rejoice in the eternal blessings of God, things that you cannot even imagine, of beauty, majesty, royalty, everything that is so great and good. And things that are far beyond our perception, far beyond our imagination. But we can also get a glimpse of it. Just a glimpse of it is so awesome to actually have it, because you can actually see that a better thing, a better world will one day come, and God will reign on this earth, and there's nothing that can stop him from doing it. Fully reign. Yes, today it controls the world. I believe God is in control, but in this world, there is still suffering, there is still a great spiritual battle. And until those times, yes, until those times, we have to live in God, in communities through Him. Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about today. So we have the fall of humans. We have the salvation of humans, yes, and we have the eternal glory, because we have all limited time on this earth, and why not use it with a great reason? And I believe Jesus Christ is the greatest reason to live your life, and with God coming in communion with you, and actually having someone who is greater than you that can help you and you can relate to. So then the new world is coming, a better world than was ever before. I believe it will be much more better than it was in the Garden of Eden, which was amazing. I'm sure we don't know it, but I'm sure Adam and Eve experienced something that we haven't, and they had something that we never had, because for some period of time they were blameless. They did not have any sin, any transgression that would actually had to be paid the price for them to be restored. So today the world is in a restoration phase, and only through Jesus Christ there will be restoration. And restoration actually happens on all levels, even in our bodies. Our bodies will need restoration. We grow old, our bodies fade away, the spirit remains forever. So the spirit and the soul through Jesus is saved in God through Jesus, and our bodies will be made new again. We don't know how it is. It says that God will give you and me, if we believe in Him and trust in Him, will give us new bodies, new dimensions, and a greatness that you have never ever experienced before. So thank you for being here on Delix Faith channel. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was a blessing for you. And I see you next time I'm here. God bless you.